All right, everyone, welcome back. We are going to be covering vehicles. We're just covering Archwings on this one, and then we will cover uh, Void Rigs or Necromechs, and then K Drives will be a very short video. I don't think you can get Atomocycles as a vehicle outside of just picking up one to drive around. There might be more information by the time I get to K Drives, because K Drives and Atomocycles, if they're a thing, will be together. Anyway, we're covering Archwings here. First off, um, Archwings are not used for more than mostly transport outside of a few niche cases. Niche case, Railjack. However, I would rather drive my Railjack than be outside in my Archwing when I don't have to be. Simple fact. My Railjack is 100 times the size of my Archwing and does more damage. So, case one. Case two, the Amatia especially is useful for doing Tridolon hunts on Cetus. Outside of that, unless you're playing an actual Archwing mission mode, um, it's mostly just used to transport on open worlds. A lot of times. The Itzal is sometimes used to speed. To speed level things because it can go invisible, which makes sniping people from long distances away really useful. Building that. I don't know anyone who actually uses the Electron, and the Odonata is your starter frame, and there's a prime version. So that's the one we're going to be really talking with is the Odonata, because that's what you'll be starting with, and it takes a hot minute to acquire the other ones. When you do, I like using the Amatia as my regular one. It's just nice, but mostly we're talking about modding here. So, as you can see, I haven't put hardly anything in here because I don't use it a lot. But, again, same thing. Certain things apply to almost every one across the board. And that's going to be, you probably want ability efficiency if you're going to be using the abilities in missions. So system reroute is going to be important. Ability duration, also going to be important. You know, if you want abilities to last. Your defensive abilities on the Amatia, this is helpful for. I don't know that it's necessarily as good for helping with. Maybe it helps a little bit with repel on the Odonata. A lot of times when I was using the Odonata, I was just using Seeking Fire to throw missiles at people, because why not? Energy Shell is sort of helpful, I guess. Not super used. I didn't use a lot. Mostly I ended up using Seeking Fire when I was playing with Odonata originally. So System Reroute's useful. Energy Amplifier extends your ability range. And then Auxiliary Power is Energy Max. Enhanced durability and superior defenses work hand in hand to kind of make you survive a little more. And then Morphic Transformer. Where's my regular version? Apparently, I never had a regular version before getting that one. Anyway, that's your ability strength. So probably you're always going to want Morphic Transformer. Probably always going to want System Reroute. Those two work hand in hand in order to let you cast stronger Archwing abilities and cast it for cheaper. Efficient Transferral is going to let your long-lasting ones last longer, and then Auxiliary Power is going to give you the energy to cast those around. Past that, depending on what frame you're using, durability, range, shield recharge, all things you can consider. Kind of like with Archguns, which we covered in another video. Although Archguns have a far broader use, to be quite honest. Kind of with Archguns, there are limited mods for Archwings. Like, there are some mods that are specifically for Archwing, specific ones, like the Odonata has some augments. Energy Shell applies to allies, things like that. But for the most part, the mods you see here, these 16 mods, like 25 mods. That's it. There are not a lot of mods. So there's not a huge amount of, well, you can build this crazy thing this way. And again, I think that kind of has to do with the way that Archwing's not really utilized out of a couple of niche cases, and for the one mode it makes sense in, which is Railjack. But again, I would rather just drive my Railjack at things and be an Archwing for the least amount of time I have to be, because it's easier to do it that way. So, but comparatively to, let's do my Amnesia, see if I flesh that out more. I haven't. Surprise, surprise. Maybe. I think there's pretty much the same. Yeah, I think I have the exact same build. Surprise, surprise. I don't think I have a specific one for the Amnesia, so there might not be one. But the Amnesia is more of a defensive one. Its first ability is really useful for if you're a defensive or want a more defensive frame, Archwing. Watchful Storm, Trident Domes, they intercept enemy fire. The Benevolent Decoy creates a beacon that draws enemy fire, converting that damage into healing pulses. This is the one that's used a lot when people are doing Eidolon hunts, because it helps keep the lures alive. Warding Grace renders the Warframe and nearby allies immune to status effects. That's the other one. These two are used a lot in conjunction when keeping lures safe. And then Vengeful Rush. All damage taken is converted into energy, while abilities gain enhanced range, duration, power. Affects the Warframe and nearby allies. The conversion percent is It's useful if you want to use it. If you don't, you don't. Again, Archwings are kind of a weird thing because a lot of people don't play any of the Archwing missions. You have the Baylor from Orion Archwing mission that's run because it gives 200,000 credits and I believe, an Orokin reactor, and then you run it to get Archgun mods and pieces to the Imperator Vandal. That is the 3-ish reasons you run the Baylor from Orion. Otherwise, your Archwing is not usually in play other than a transport A to B while you are in an open world. So, useful to build it, not super important to build it. Or rather, you can get by with a ramshackle build for a long, long time. And you can get by with the regular Odinata for a long, long time. Like, you don't... They're useful for getting MR standing, having them all, but that's kind of weird. We covered Archguns in a different video, so I'm not going to cover them here. Archmelee. Only time you see it is when you're actually in a true Archwing mission. Which kind of sucks, because it'd be nice to beat down Tusk Thumper with Archmelee. I think that would be hilarious. Anyway, so these follow the same kind of rules as... Why do I not have a thingy in this? Okay, well, we'll do this live. That's cool. Works the same way as regular Melee, to be 100% honest. Honestly, it has more possible mods than almost any of the other options for the Archwing Archgun classification. Astro Autopsy is useful for making scans and things. I got some new mods from doing things. So, Infectious Injection is one of the ones you can get from the Baylor from Orion. Magnetized Core. Are they both just critical chance and critical? Okay, so that works nice together. But yeah, other than that, like the 2 or 3, I guess, that are useful for this would be Cutting Edge for melee damage, Tempered Blade for crit chance, and then Sudden Impact for status chance, and then whatever other Archmelee status mods you want, to be honest. Or Archmelee see if there are ones other than status. Give it 18 left. So there's the Archmelee versions, the regular ones. There's Furor, which is attack speed. Attack speed is not super important in Archmelee because you do kind of this like warp thing to your target when you're close and you're attacking in melee when you're in an Archwing mission. Extend would kind of make that a little more useful, possibly. Bleeding edge is critical damage. So critical damage would be your other sort of useful one. Do I have 7 more mod space or something? Do I have anything else? Yeah, I mean, I have crowd coding. I could put viral on here. Why not? You know what? Why not? We're doing it live. Okay, so, and obviously I don't have the full suite of Archmelee mods. And there could be more Archmelee mods, and I just don't know the locations of where to find them. That's something the wiki could always help you with, or the codex. Not really worried about it, because the time I'm actually allowed to use the Archmelee is limited to when I'm out in space, where I would rather just be in my big gunship using the big guns. Which you kind of want to know to that. No, I'll save my harping on where else Archmelee could show up for my my Necromech video, because I have a mild bone about that I want to pick, and I will pick it while trying to help teach you guys. Maybe not. I might just make a rant video on that one. Anyway, so yeah, that's the basics of Archwings. Like again, a ramshackle build will get you far. However, useful Morphic Transformer, um, system reroute, efficient transferral, and auxiliary power. You know, and then obviously durability is going to give you health, make you last longer. I don't recall whether or not what Warframe you are using affects your max health. Could be, could not. Don't remember. It would tell you on the wiki though, so I implore someone to go look on the wiki. Anyway, I hope this helped someone, and thank you guys for watching. Everyone just have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.